Selamat welcome! Today we're going to be playing the post Armory deck Aurora. So we're playing Aurora with the new cards from the Armory deck that's going to be releasing very soon. It's this Friday, I believe. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to get my hands on the actual products. But in the meantime, Talishar has got to do. But remember, if you're playing with cards that aren't released yet, you need to queue in the open CC queue instead of in the normal classic constructed or competitive classic constructed queue. So today we're going to be playing versus Cindra, showcasing how the new Aurora can perform in an aggro mirror, what needs to be done to gain advantage, and the powerful new equipment from the Armory deck that is included, part of the deck, so you don't have to purchase fancy, expensive legendaries. So, without further ado, let's head on over to the gameplay. Okay. We're versing Cindra, so aggro mirror, you always want to go second. The equipment suite, we're going snaps. It's an aggro mirror, so we want our zap clappers, which is the newest equipment from the Armory deck. It's also 3 value compared to grass, but one of it is on offense. And if you can pair it up with a Channel Lightning Valley, you get to draw a card off of it, which is insane. You don't really want Face Purgatory because they don't have like a big attack, so the filtering from COP is preferred. The 6 cards that we're going to board in for an aggro mirror is the 3 second strikes and 3 D-reacts. So I start my deck with 54 cards, and then we board in 6 cards or more depending on the matchup. Makes it easier because there's not really like main board, sideboard, because you just board differently for different matchups, and it's not like best of 3 where you change, there is a main deck and then you swap out. This is more like, well, you only get one chance to board, and so it's easier for you to have a deck that's smaller than 60, which are the cards that you almost never cut, and then from there you include cards. So we're just blocking out here. We're gonna expect to be leaking some amount of damage because we have a CLV, but it's fine, I guess. We can give the 1 equipment here or 2 equipments on the last one. Feel like it's easier for us to give 1 equipment here, because if we don't block this fully, like if we only block 2, they're highly incentivized to play their last card, and if it's something like a lava burst, we need to use 3 equipments instead of 2, and we don't want to use our zap clappers early. This way they're arsenal inclined to arsenal. We're gonna wait until they close the chain before we deploy our CLV. Cool. So we leaked a bit of damage, I mean, by having our armor bunked a bit. That's like same as life loss, but it's good enough. Cool. We have this burn up shock. They let it through. Nice. We have a phone rush, which means we can use this to pitch Starfall, which we will do. I'm gonna go 2, 3, 4. If they let this hit, okay, cool. And we're gonna arsenal our Sigil of Suffering. So this is the new card. Oh, they're running that in the aggro mirror. That's interesting. Okay, gonna be playing Skyward Serenade, which is the new card from the Armory deck. Choose 2, tutor for Skizix, which is an attack. Create an embodiment, and next attack gets +1. The most common usage for this card is create embodiment and search, but if for some reason you already have an embodiment, for example from your last turn, so you don't need the embodiment. You just Skizzix and buff, so it you choose Skizzix and buff because you don't need double embodiment, and this will be coming in for 5 instead of 4. But most of the time, Skyward is just a 0 for 4 go again, and it's a lightning action. It's a yellow pitch. It's overall really, really good, and it bumps our non-attack action count. That's why we're now comfortable running Face Purgatory. Abby from the Purple Discord has popularized the usage of Face Purgatory even before the Skyward Serenade, but and she has done really, really well. I mean, her prison list won her RTN. It was like an 8-0 sweep, and it was running Face Purgatory. But I've been in the camp where I'm not too confident in having not that many non-attack actions, and I just really needed the inventory slot, so something that I couldn't fully justify, I wasn't really a huge fan of. Okay, let's take a look at our hand. We're probably gonna try and do this a bit later. This needs Go Again to be good. This is great, but our hand just lacks Go Again currently. There is a world where we try and block out, but not on the first link, because they still have 3 cards, which means if we block here, they can still attack. We block here or here. Oh wait, we can just block at the end, but there's a chance they stop. So we kind of want to do it in the middle-ish. I'm gonna be letting this hit. Hopefully they send something for 4, so our Sigil of Suffering cleanly blocks it. But either way, I'm gonna be using it now because we get to draw a card. Hopefully it's something that can enable Go Again. If not, then block fodder. Yep, they're gonna flick. Ooh, they're getting a resource off of it, which means that's fine. That doesn't change anything. I mean, they can grab another resource, but that'd be kind of wasteful. Makes sense. So E-Strike is the easiest way for us to convert our hand. So I think I'm gonna block with Static Shock. So we're gonna see what we draw off of the Burn Up Shock if they let it through. If they don't, we E-Strike bottom Skizzix Go Again, and then we end on a Flitter. Both. Target your opponent, but friendly reminder, you can target yourself if for some reason you want to do that. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is Starfall, pitch Skizzix, E-Strike bottom Flittering Charge, and then end on a Snatch. So it's coming in for 2, 5, 4. If any of it hit, we get an extra 4. And they let us hit. This is where Aurora's armor really shines. Go Again, which is the worst mode. You usually want your E-Strike to be draw or buff power. But this hand doesn't give us the Go Again. I mean, we could break boots, but it's unwise to do that in a hand that you can convert for a tiny bit lower value. If you E-Strike draw there, it's not guaranteed. It's something that can be used anyway. So it's much better to save your boots when your hand can't convert, so that you can stay in the game and keep your lead. Because if you try to push your lead this turn, and then we take everything from their next turn and our hand can't convert, it's gonna suck really bad. If we have full tempo and we can't convert our hand, that's when we use the snaps. Don't use it to extend, use it to save yourself. Unless, of course, there's always caveats and exceptions to these rules. It's when your opponent is super duper low, then sure, it's super worth. Okay, here we can block 6 and then show them the electromagnetic somersault. I doubt that's needed though. Because we want to like use our zap clappers since we have a CLV right here. Yeah, we're gonna wait a bit. Our life lead is like quite significant. We can be patient. We can block 3 here. And we have to respond to the zap clappers trigger by playing the CLV, but keep in mind that you can't like zap clappers reveal CLV and then play CLV, because revealing and the damaging from the zap clappers is one thing. It's one package bundle that you can't insert something in the middle. Like revealing, playing the CLV, and then damaging, that inserting it in the middle doesn't work because it's one thing. Okay, so you need to have another instant. In this case, it's EMS. And in other cases, you already have the CLV on board and you draw into another instant. Keep in mind, burn up shock, when it's not being played, it counts as both. So this is also an instant that you can reveal to zap clappers. They're not paying, so we're drawing a card. They're probably gonna flick here. So that's fine. Okay, it's 4. We can block 6. We can do Photon Rush, EMS. Huh. This is our only lightning, so CLV. We can block like Arcanic plus Crown and try and like find a better hand. We need lightning cards. And we'll probably convert our Static Shock. And blocking 5 plays around Ancestral Empowerment. I mean, there is a line where we just block 2 and use the EMS and we don't sacrifice the equipment. But since this is our only lightning card, we kind of want to keep it. Great. That works. Now we can Photon Rush. Since we revealed EMS, they're probably going to think we're going to do Photon Rush and then EMS. But in actuality, we're going to Photon Rush and then play the CLV. Kind of greedy, but hopefully we don't get got by the Lava Loyalty Beyond the Grave. Oh crap. Okay, sure. We can do this and fuse. They need to block a breakpoint plus. Cool. Cool. They just lose. Sure. I'm gonna explain what my thought process was here. So I'm gonna Arcanic Shockwave and then Boots. And then I'm going to pitch the EMS into Starfall. And then I'm going to Skyward Serenade for a Skizix Go Again, send it, and then pitch this into Aurora to keep both CLVs if I want to be like conservative, if I want to keep both. But there is a line where we Arc Lightning, 1 Arcane, pitch this into Starfall 2 and 1 arcane. This itself is 1 arcane, and then the Skizix plus embodiment is 4 plus 1 arcane, which is a total of 1, 2 is 3, 1 is 4, 5 plus another 5 mixed damage. They probably can't block the arcane whatsoever. So yeah, I think that's a good showing of what Aurora can do in the mirror. The cards from the Armory decks really showed themselves. Skyward Serenade being 2 actions in 1, pairing really nicely with Arc Lightning, and it being your lightning starter, it being a non-attack, it being flexible is really, really nice and important. And we got to see the power of the Zap Clappers. It's exactly what I want to happen in an aggro mirror, is to swing the value of the game by not only dealing 1, but aligning it up with a CLV. So you deal 1 and then you draw 1, which makes the value of the equipment a total of 6. If you assume the card draw is worth 3, you're blocking 2, damaging 1, and drawing a card. So a total of 6 value. We also managed to line up a Sigil of Suffering block while we had CLV, and we had just using our equipments like at pivotal moments, knowing that they cannot draw if we use a card plus our equipments, meant that their massive momentum didn't get any value, so that it's much easier for us to have a huge life lead and keep the momentum in our favor. Like, they're forced to keep a large hand to be able to present momentum triggers. But at the same time, if they're keeping all their cards, it means they're taking all of our damage, and Aurora's numbers is really good. You can see why, even without the Armory deck, she's already performing really well, even having 6 in the top 8 of one of the Battle Hardens or ProQuest Plus. I think it's Battle Harden Taipei. The new cards are amazing. We didn't get to showcase the Written in the Stars, but I feel like it showcased enough of the new cards that I'm quite happy with this game. I'm going to be posting a second one. That game will probably, I'm going to aim to play something versus more defensive, so you can see the difference between how we play versus aggressive decks using our equipments as pivotal key turn moments where we get to keep extra cards in our hands or stop their game plan. Meanwhile, in the defensive matchups, our equipments play a different role, and you'll get to see that later. So, yeah, that's it for today. I've been Mas Bulemain, and sampai goodbye!